Are you unemployed? Are you struggling to find a job? Have you been laid off? The technology sector is growing, it's booming, it's exploding. There are jobs, there's business opportunities. It's up to you to reach out and participate and change your life completely and get that dream job or that dream business opportunity you've been looking for. Tech Talk with Mwangala, and I'll show you how you can actually get a career going in IT. Tune in every Saturday, 10 hours, and I'll show you how. Not again, I came back to Zambia and I started working in the IT industry in Zambia. So I started off my career in IT department at Citibank in Lusaka in Zambia. And I'm so glad that that was my first job because, as you know, Citibank is one of the top banks in the world. And I acquired a lot of skills and also just the culture of performance and hard work as well. So I'm very grateful for Citibank for giving me that opportunity. After Citibank, I left and I went to work on a project that was from Harvard University, the Harvard Institute for International Development, and we set up what is now called the ZRA. So when we got to the ZRA now, that is there now, there was no ZRA, there was Department of Taxes and Department of Customs. So we developed the very, very, very first IT systems and the very first databases and the very first networking. Very, very exciting project. After when the ZRA was set up, Zambia Revenue Authority was set up, and the project wound down and handed over to the operations. At that point, I opted to leave Zambia, and I left Zambia and went to live in South Africa. I lived in South Africa from 1997 to 2011. I loved it. The challenge that it gave me in terms of my experience. I acquired a lot of skills working in Johannesburg in the various IT industries and companies. My first job there was at Microsoft. I was at Microsoft Services. I subsequently worked for companies like Technology. The South African government, De Beers, Anglo Gold. So I've been in a lot of industries, but I would say my key strength and the key industries I've worked in, looking back on my career now, are mining, because I started out in ZCCM. Then I ended up working in South Africa for Anglo Gold and for De Beers. I didn't plan it that way, but I'm very strong in the mining sector. I understand it very well. I also did a lot of work in government because setting up ZRA, we're doing it. It was a government-funded project. And also in South Africa, I worked extensively for the South African government in places like the State IT Agency, and I also worked at the Shared Services Center, which is one of the biggest shared services center A shared services center is a big organization like government that says we don't want every government department to do IT and HR and procurement and finance. There'll be a central team that does all that. So we did the centralized shared services IT for the healthcare and provincial government. So again, I acquired a lot of skills working in that place. And then full circle round, from starting my career in Citibank, in 2011, I came back to Zambia, and I came back to Zambia as head of IT at Zanaco. So I worked at Zanaco for 6 years, from 2011 to 2017, after which I joined Zambia's newest and youngest bank, Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, where I'm the CIO. So a brief introduction about why I am the right person to talk to you about this topic, IT and IT skills in demand. Because to be honest with you, the world is short of skills, the right skills in IT that people need to acquire, learn, certify if they can. It pretty much guarantees them a very, very solid career. So the world right now is going through what we call a fourth industrial revolution. The world is changing, and rapidly so. COVID and the outbreak of the COVID virus has made us aware that the world is changing because everything has moved online. Schooling, e-learning, every student is doing e-learning. My daughter is at University of Stellenbosch, but she's in my house right now because of the e-learning. It's online schooling. Yeah? Churches are having services online. Work, every meeting is an online meeting. Everything we do has moved online. So we are now officially digital citizens of the world. We can't ignore the digital era anymore. But what I want to tell you is that for every digital item that is there, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's an e-learning platform for a school, there has to be a technology person working and making sure that this works. It could be you. My industry, banking, is bleeding jobs. People are losing jobs. People are getting laid off. Why? Because we're digitizing a lot of things. You used to walk into a branch, into a teller, give a teller a piece of paper, they gave you cash or deposit the cash. Today, ATMs are taking cash. Today, money is being moved on mobile devices. So there's less and less dependency on people and more dependency on technology. So I want to shift the way people look at the workplace and the way people look at opportunities. The opportunities are in the technology sector. It's up to us to unbundle what that opportunity looks like and make it possible for people to actually adopt it and want to use it. So if you look at the computer industry and what it's done, there are the benefits. Why do we automate so much, for instance, in an industry like banking? There's a reduction in cost because machines can do things faster. If you go to any industry, even if you go to a farm, you find that there are no people in the fields anymore. There's just one big center pivot thing crawling around the farm and watering the whole farm. If you go to a bottling plant, a manufacturer, you find their machines cleaning the bottles, labeling the bottles, filling up the bottles, sealing them, sterilizing them. Everything has gone automated. And people are struggling and saying, where are the jobs? We need to have a complete shift in the way we look at the job market. Why do we automate? Why do we introduce technology? We introduce technology because it also increases our production. It's faster than a human filling out a bottle. The quality of our products, it's a standard machine, so it's going to do this all the time. It won't wake up one day and tell you, I wasn't feeling that well that way, and this is what happened. Okay. So speed to market, you can also get your product a lot faster to market, and it's always working, apart from the downtime that you service it. The downside to all this is that people are losing jobs. People are getting unemployed. There's fear. People actually fear technology. It's real. There's a skills gap. There is a widening skills gap. I'm sitting in an industry that is crying out for skilled people to come on board. But people are not training and they're not doing the right courses to actually get them into the industry. And that's why I'm here. For me, I'm here just to fill up that skills gap. to show people, study this and take your course in this direction. And you know what? You'll be in an in-demand skill. There's also the cost of technology, and there's social media addiction. To date, majority of people, not just young people, even adult people, I see young women with baby in one arm and phone in the other. I feel sorry for the baby. There's social media addiction. A reason why I'm standing here is that I want to reverse that and say, by all means, let's consume social media, but let's look beyond the obvious. So we're just consuming, and let's be contributor. What happens at Facebook? What's keeping people busy there? What happens at YouTube? What is WhatsApp? What's the technology behind this? When I send a mobile money wallet, who is moving it? Who has developed that program, and how does it work? What network? How does it move from the MTN to the Airtel to the Zamtel to the bank? There are people who study this and make it work. How does it move securely? How do I send money to you and make sure that it reaches you and it doesn't get diverted? There are people who secure all the systems. They're there. That's their job. And I want you to look at that as a career option. And there's a dependency on social media that is there. But you know, social media is a very, very powerful tool. And through social media, you can actually learn a lot. We just need to change how we feed ourselves. For instance, YouTube is a powerful, powerful educational tool. And if I have time, I'll show you some of those tools. So automation, technology, digitization, even things like robotics and artificial intelligence, please don't fear them. They are real. They are happening right now. 7-year-olds, by the way, can be taught how to build robots and how to program them. That's how accessible these skills are. So why don't we take time to say, I want to be a programmer. I want to do robotics. I want my child to do robotics. I was laid off from my work and I want to reskill and acquire a new skill. It is possible. So how do we do that? We adapt our skills to suit the demand. What is the world looking for today? I want you to go to a job, do a Google search. Everybody's got access to Google. And say jobs in demand in the world today. And what you're going to find is data scientist, machine learning, Android developer, systems engineer, software engineer, Java programmer, Python programmer. These are all the skills, some of the skills that are in demand in the world today. Data. Every industry is generating a lot of data. From the health sector, to the telecommunications sector, to banking. There's so much data in the world today that we are looking for people to help us understand this data and what we can do with it. So there's data scientist, Android developer. An Android developer, your phone, if you've got a smartphone, if you've got a Samsung phone, if you've got a Techno phone, or any of these Android, the software that is driving them is called Android. It's a version of Android. And it's a skill to actually learn how to program that phone so that you can get apps onto the phone. You can also develop apps that you can put on the phone. There are free online resources available that you can use to start acquiring these skills. You can go on YouTube. And before the end of this session, I'm going to show you how you can do that. And say, I want to become a Java programmer. A Java programmer is one of the top programming languages needed in the world. My colleagues in the banking sector, when they get laid off, there's mass layoffs in the banking sector. Literally every few months you hear, this bank has laid off people, this bank has laid off people. When they approach me and they say, I'm looking for a job, I've lost my job. What I say to them is that, look, consider becoming a business analyst. In IT, we've got a field that we call project management. IT project management. In that project management field, you can specialize to become a business analyst. So what does a business analyst do? A business analyst is somebody who understands what the business is, what is banking, and then can translate that for the programmer to actually develop a system that works. Oftentimes, most programmers don't understand the business they've gone to work in. They go work in health, they're not doctors, they're not trained health professionals. They go work in banking, they are not trained as bankers, but they know how to program. So somebody has to translate those requirements into a form that the programmer can actually program. When you work like that with a very good business analyst to make sure your requirements are gathered, you find the quality of the programs also gets better, and the speed at which the programs are developed is a lot faster. So within project management, there's business analysts, there's also things like quality control, testing. Whatever program you're going to develop, you need to make sure that it can work. Because what's the point? What if we gave you a phone that doesn't work? Would you use it? You wouldn't use it, right? You say, this thing doesn't work. Behind the scenes, before that update is released, before that phone is given to you, people have tested it and tested it. They've done what is called systems integration testing. Your phone has to work on the Zamtel network. It has to work on the Airtel network. It has to work on the MTN network. If you travel out of the country, it must work. They have to make sure everything works. All the features on your phone, the functions on your phone, if somebody sits there and actually tests, that's a job. It's a full-time occupation to do that. And to certify things, these are working now. I'm the functional test and I've signed off that this is working. And this can move on. The users, who is going to use this system? And are they going to actually be able to use it? So when it comes to IT skills and technology, people feel like, it's too technical. You have to be good at mathematics. Not necessarily. Because if you look, for instance, at the user experience, do you know that what you see, that front end of whatever program that you're using, was designed by a graphic designer? So if you're an artistic person, please go and study graphics design. Right now, the IT industry needs graphic designers because that end user experience has got to be something that is nice to look at, something that a person would want to use. If you leave a programmer to design the front end, believe me, they're going to leave you with ones and zeros. So again, if you're artistic, go out there and become a graphic designer and start. There was a young lady in my last session who said for her, she went on YouTube, started doing graphic design courses, and now people hire and pay her to design things for her. So it is possible. If you look at programming, don't be intimidated and think, oh gosh, programming is so complicated. Actually, programmers and those of us who work in the IT industry, what we love about our work is that because it's creative, you're making things every day. Programming is about making things and developing and things that they work. So it's really exciting. You've got to love it. Because it's not your routine, do this every day, do this. Every day is a different experience. So for me, I really want to encourage people to say, adopt a new skill in IT or adapt your existing skill. Whatever industry you're working in, go back if you're an adult person struggling to find themselves. Whatever industry you're working in, believe you me, there's a level of automation and technology that has penetrated that industry that people are working with, but they've got, possibly they have the skills or they're acquiring the skills, but if you convert and add an IT skills, it suddenly makes you more marketable. Let's build capacity in the digital industry. Let's get our young people involved in actually making products that can be consumed, that can be sold. So for me personally, what I do is that I used to preach a lot, not preach, but talk to people a lot about coming into IT. But increasingly starting this year, I formalized it by setting up these sessions here that I do every Saturday at 10 hours, where you get into a tech talk like we've done today. And then I also have a skills development program that I run. I've since launched my website. My website is www.mwangala.com. go to that website, send me a message, tell me that you'd like to get involved in the IT Skills Development Academy, and we can pick it up from there. Again, I thank God for the online world because I'm in full-time employment. I think it would have been very, very difficult if I was not doing it online. So I do these courses on Zoom, online, after hours. After 17 hours, 19 hours usually every evening, I'm available doing the skills online training. And also weekends, I'm online and I get people trained. So that's the way I'm doing it. So high level, that's what I wanted to share with you today. But before I go, or before I open up to any questions anybody might have, because there's an audience here, I want to focus on one of the top in-demand skills in the world today. And that skill is Java programming. So, a Java programmer, a software engineer. Java, if you go on your laptop, this is an iPad, or Android phone, most devices in the world today are programmed using Java. So it's one of the top skills. It can run on an iPhone, an iPad, and any iOS MacBook. It can run on a Windows platform. It can run on an Android platform. The program is called Java. That's what it is. Yeah? And you can actually acquire this skill. If you want to, you can just, next time you're on YouTube, just say Java programming for beginners. And you can actually start watching some of the tutorials. So this program is quite a new software. It was only developed in 1995. Okay, I know there's a lot of young people here. So 1995 is yeah. But 1995 for somebody like me is not it's by a gentleman called James Gosling. And it's now the most widely used programming language in the world. There's a lot of job opportunities for Java programmers, even here in Zambia. We've got a lot of software development companies in Zambia that are developing software for all manner of industries. Very, very powerful software developed right here in Zambia by Zambians. Yeah? So you can take it offshore. You can go work in South Africa. I've got some of my colleagues, my IT colleagues, that left and went to work in South Africa. You can go work anywhere in the world. You can develop products that you can go to market for. So if you see a problem, if there's a problem you're aware of, start thinking, I think I should develop a program to solve this problem. That's what programmers do. They just solve problems, that's all. And maybe if I learn basic Java coding, I can actually start experimenting and building that program. Do you know that you can learn Java in 6 weeks? People as young as 7 years old, 10 years old, 14 years are being taught Java programming. So it's not as complex as you think it might be. If you become an expert, so of course 6 weeks would get you to a point where you can actually do the basics, maybe like program a little clock or something. But if you become an expert in Java, believe you me, your skills will be in demand. Everybody will be looking for you. So those people watching at home, start learning Java. The people who are here, start learning Java. For me, what I would encourage you is move on to get actually a professional certificate. In the IT industry, you can take 2 routes. You can go to college, get a diploma, get a degree, get a certificate, or you can do it the professional way. The professional way means there are certain certified bodies, international certified bodies that can actually give you, you write an exam and they actually give you an international certificate. You are a certified Java programmer. If you do that, it's an industry recognized certification. If you do that, you have made the best investment you could ever do for yourself. Because suddenly the entire industry recognizes that certificate. Yeah? You'd have to pay for the training, obviously, but it's a worthwhile investment to get that certification. But start with the basics. Start with what can I learn first, and then take it to the next level. Okay? So a Java certified professional or a Java certified associate is one of the most lucrative careers. So career goal number 1, Java programmers, put up there, ultimately, I want to be a Java certified professional, or I want to be a Java certified associate. But start somewhere. Set yourself a task. Say, I'm going to join a skills academy that's going to teach me the skills, or I'm going to go online, and instead of me watching my friends doing whatever it is they do on YouTube, I'm actually going to be using YouTube now. I'll set aside a time, 1 hour, 2 hours a day, and I'm going to start learning Java programming. You can teach yourself, or you can pay somebody to teach you. You can pay me to teach you, or you can do it yourself. And then ultimately, I now understand where it is I need to go. Because the challenge I find usually with ourselves and with young people is that we don't set goals. We don't know where it is we want to go. And my being here is just to help you steer in the right direction of where you need to go. The end goal of what is my ultimate achievement and where I start. If somebody maps that up to you, you know where to go. It's like you saying, oh, I want to go to the Copper Belt. I want to drive to Ndola. But you know, I don't know where to go. Maybe if I take a few roads, I'll end up in Ndola. You won't. You'll be at Big Falls, Kazungula Bridge, and everywhere else. You will never, ever get to Ndola. So if you're here in Lusaka, you're starting here in Lusaka, and you're going to Ndola, have an idea at least. If I take the Great North Road, who's at Great North Road Academy, drive past Great North Academy and keep going, eventually I'll reach Ndola. And when I reach Ndola, I've achieved my goal. So set a goal for yourself and say, this is what I want. And this is where I start. Then you have to move. You have to put in the work. Saying I've got a goal and I'm sitting here and somehow the goal is going to, Ndola is going to come, I'll sleep, and when I wake up I'll be in Ndola. It's never going to work out. You have to make a plan now. Get on that bus. Get in that car. Do whatever it is to actually start the process of moving you. So this is what I want to leave with you, that it's important that you actually set out what your objectives are. So now, I would like to do a demo. I'm hoping we can actually get it going. I'm sure we will. Because there are certain things. I want to leave this audience and the people at home with a few basic skills in terms of what they need to actually start developing in Java. Okay? First things first, you need to have your notepad open. If you go on your phone, if you got a smartphone, there is always a notepad. It's a little computer program that says WordPad or Notepad. That's all you need. It's always there. So first of all, you need to have your notepad because that's where you're going to write your lines of code. And then you need to go on the internet and download the Java Developer Kit. JDK. What is a JDK? A JDK is like your lab, for lack of a better word, where you're actually going to actually run your programs. If I leave you with those two things, open Notepad, I'll show you where to download the Java Developer Kit, and we actually successfully download it together, the rest, as they say, will fall into place. Because from then on, it's just do this, write this, write this, write this, and then before you know it, you can actually develop a program. That's it, people. So now what I want to show you is where we are going to download the Java Developer Kit. We're going to go to one of the websites. I've got it here. And if you've got a way, I'm not too sure if the people at home can see the projector, but you need to go, for me, the Java Developer Kit I'm going to download is from the Oracle website. So, or just do a Google search. Say, I want to download the JDK, Java Developer Kit. Okay? So I'm going to download one from the Oracle website. In fact, yesterday I had one of those. Here's one I downloaded earlier. But let's try to do it together. Okay, so I'm here on my website, www.oracle.com/Java/technologies. Java is downloads HTML. Okay, so look at that. I actually have got option to download the developer kit. That's the engine where you actually run the program, and the documentation. With just these two, I can possibly actually start my programming. So We're going to download the developer kit. So what it will do, it will ask you, it's free. Developer kits are free to download. But you just need to know what program you're on. Are you running Linux? Are you running Windows? Are you running a Mac OS? So in my case, I'm running a Windows computer. So I'm going to click on Windows, and I'm going to download. I'll accept, and I'm going to download. Okay, and that's it. It's running. Okay, so for the purposes of the program today, I will leave it here where we actually download the developer kit. I'm not going to go into the actual development. Get onto my website, send me a message if you actually want to start doing the programming, and we can start doing it together. Yeah? So that's what I had for you today. And next week, I'm going to focus on, I want to do programming next week. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's ask the audience for questions and contributions and or comments about how they found the session. Anybody got a question? Yes?
And for ICT?
Information, communications, and technology. Yeah, so information part is the data, because everything is about data. The communications part is how we communicate. Yeah, and then the technology part is obviously the technology, like the hardware, the servers, the network cables, the laptops, the phones, and all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anybody else got a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you. I just wanted to ask if there's a lot of things coming on your phone, what will be happening? A lot of information is just coming in, even things you don't want.
Okay, I know it's very, very intimidating if you're not a technology person, but believe you me, read those messages. Read those messages, and usually it's trying to tell you something. And you can usually find out what it is that is going on with your phone. What kind of information, for instance, would your phone be telling you?
Like just certain videos which are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it means there's a possibility your phone has been infected by some kind of malware or some kind of virus that is sending bad things to you. So you need to clean it up. And if you don't have the skills to clean it up, there are people that can actually clean it up for you and actually protect your phone. So the other thing that I tell people why they should be, where they can actually exercise a lot of caution and manage their phones better, is when I see phones like that, usually they have not run an update, they've not upgraded their phone or updated their apps. The phone will be prompting you. It will be telling you, update, update. What happens? What do those updates mean? Your computer says to you, run this update, run it, and let it run. If it takes a few hours, let it run. Because you see, when a vulnerability is introduced on a system, remember there's bad elements in everything that we do. For as much as there's so much good in the world, there's always that bad element that wants to do something. They want to steal from you, they want to make your life difficult, they want to challenge you, they're always there, we know that. So unfortunately, they do attack these systems. So what the manufacturers have got is that, again, that's why I mentioned information security. There's a whole team of information security that protect these apps and these softwares and these programs all the time. That's why when there's a vulnerability, something is going to expose you to a bad element. The manufacturer sends you an update. You must run that update so that you're fully protected. Yeah? But if you've missed that out, then you need to clean your phone. Look, sometimes it need not be bad. Like if you don't really have much to lose, you can reset it back to factory settings. But resetting it back to factory settings, with all your contacts, everything is wiped out. So most people don't like to do that. So most young people actually are very astute with these things. Most young people, you tell them, look, clean out my phone, it's doing this and I don't want you to do this, they can usually sort it out. And also what I see a lot is phones that have run out of space. So by default, capacity is limited on your phone. And what I see a lot of people doing is that their social media, their WhatsApp is automatically set to download images, and the phone gets full. And then it's not performing optimally, because these devices, once they don't have space to perform, they don't work as well as they should. So look out for those things. If you're running WhatsApp, make sure your media settings is not set to default. Your download media. Download what you want to download onto your phone. Besides which, what really surprises me is that oftentimes, whatever is downloaded on your phone, if you've got an Android phone, it's backed up to Google Photos. I don't know if you've noticed that. If you go to Google Photos, you find your media there. If you've got an iPhone, if you go to the iCloud, you find your media there. So there is really no need as such to keep all that content on your phone and clog your phone to the point where it actually is not working very well anymore. Yeah? Okay. Any other questions?
I have.
Yes.
Sorry, I've just come in with another issue. But when I see here, I've just get crash. But from what you have escambouched or explain in short.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You have mentioned the phone,
Okay.
whatever you are being cheated, whatever,
Thank you very
whatever.
much, everybody. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I believe that was the end of the show. It's a little bit difficult to end it on a note like this, because there are people that were here from the beginning that heard everything that was being said. And there are people watching at home that I think are extracting a lot of value from this. And let's see how best we can carry on with the audience, the studio audience after the show, and answer some of the questions or concerns they may have. Yeah? Okay. Yes. Look, there's a lot of programs on offer, and so my advice to you is, if you've got a very good grade 12 school living certificate, there's multitudes of private and the national institutions, both the Commonwealth University and University of Zambia offer really top computer science degrees, or if you can afford to go out of the country. But for me, why I'm here is that I want to show people that you can actually acquire IT skills without necessarily having to go to university. There are people who can't afford university, for instance. What do we do about them? There are people who have been working and they are laid off and they can't get a job. What do we do with that? So IT is one of the most accessible industries, because like I was showing you here, I'm downloading this software development kit, and I'm hoping all the people who had have their devices are doing the same. And I've asked you to download, get your notepad open as well. And I've asked you to go to YouTube and type in Java programming for beginners and start following those programs. And then you can come, reach out to me on my website, send me a message saying, I would like to do an IT skills development program, and then we can engage you as well. So we can get you to a level in 6 weeks. You can get to a level where you have a level of proficiency in Java programming. But of course, it's then up to you to take it to the next level. I want to take it to the diploma level, certification level, degree level. The entry requirements for university or college in the sciences is pretty much what you would be expected. I'm not sure, I can't speak right now and say, UNZA would need you to have this result, CBU would need you to, Evelyn Hort would need you, but you need to have done well. But you can start programming right now. You can go back home and tell your parents, can we download the software development kit? Do you have Notepad on your laptop? Can we go on YouTube? And can we look at the Java programming? Or can we join Mwangala's course in Java programming? And before you know it, you can actually start programming. It's accessible. Why I'm standing here is that I don't want people thinking that technology is so not accessible. It's accessible. I want to break those barriers and let people know how accessible technology is, and that anybody, pretty much anybody and everybody, can start acquiring the skills. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. So our software development kit is downloading, and it takes time. So one of the things I want people to know in IT, you need to be patient. You need to be patient. Things take time. I think IT is like farming. You just can't walk in and walk out and you've got a skill. You see, the downloads have to happen. Here it's still downloading, and there's 10 minutes left of the download. Take time and be patient. Be patient with yourself, be patient with your device, and ask questions and be open to learning. Because before you know it, you could have a very, very lucrative career in the IT industry. It's the least I think I can do, having come this far in my career. So, are there any other questions? Last time I had a phone-in show, yeah. Yes? The various programs, I mean, a standard program, I think a diploma would take you in Zambia, the average diploma takes 3 years, and the degree course 4 years to study a BSc in computer science. But you see, depending on what you study, you can then come out and get a job. But for me, start acquiring the in-demand skills, like you can acquire those on the side. Yeah, yeah, and use them. Yeah. It's kind of like if you go into agriculture and they tell you, there are people who study agriculture and make a success of it. There are people who are semi-literate and they make a success of it. When Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook, he didn't have degrees and degrees and degrees. He was a student, a first-year student. For me, that's what shows you how accessible IT is. That anybody who just wants to apply themselves and put in the hours, put in the work, you can actually do it. Yeah? Okay. Right. Okay, any other questions? Don't forget, reach me. I'm also on LinkedIn, Mwangala Mioyeta. I'm the only one with that name. Facebook. And send me an email, mwangala@gmail.com. Look me up on my website, mwangalamioyeta.com. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a rare honor and privilege to actually have an audience here to listen to me. And thank you to the people watching from home. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a great Saturday. Okay. Are you unemployed? Are you struggling to find a job? Have you been laid off? The technology sector is growing, it's booming, it's exploding. There are jobs, there's business opportunities. It's up to you to reach out and participate and change your life completely and get that dream job or that dream business opportunity you've been looking for.